Xerfi Global has recently published a study on car makers which decrypts a sector that is re-emerging, somewhat transformed, from a rocky ride during the world financial crisis. Current figures paint a rosy picture. The European market may still be dragging its feet, but the US has recovered from its slump and is seeing healthy growth in vehicle sales, while emerging markets have a huge, albeit slowing, appetite for vehicles. Indeed, China has become the world's biggest car market, with sales having quadrupled since 2005. As a result, 2013 saw over 62 million cars sold globally, dwarfing the 2007 figure of 50 million vehicles seen before the crisis. And this growth does not seem to be simply a matter of post-crisis rebalancing of pent-up demand, but is set to continue. Xerfi Global analysts estimate sales to exceed 72 million by 2017. However, the difficulties experienced by the industry during the crisis were not merely a blip allowing a back-to-business-as-usual approach. The crisis years have had a before and after effect on the sector, not only forcing a restructuring of the big three, Ford, Chrysler and General Motors, but generally shaking up the stakes and reshuffling all the major players. The shifting of the center of gravity towards China has made this market a principal battleground, and Chinese market presence has become a determining factor for the rise or fall of car makers. The Middle Kingdom's burgeoning demand has furthermore gone hand in hand with the relocation of production, meaning that China is now churning out 1 of every 5 cars made, and that Western players must enter into joint ventures with local car makers if they want a piece of the action. In this particular playing field, General Motors and Volkswagen are in pole position. Another major battleground is research and development, in which car makers have invested an average of 3.23% of their revenues over the past 5 years. The race for cleaner, greener, safer, more energy-efficient cars is not over, and the study also examines the increasing importance of vehicle intelligence and connectivity, which is likely to shake up the pecking order of car makers in coming years. Given this context, in order for car makers to remain competitive, they must not only increase their global footprints, invest heavily in research and development, but also endeavor to achieve higher margins through means such as standardization with the use of global mega platforms or entry into the premium car market. Such exploits are extremely costly and time-consuming, and even the biggest car makers cannot afford to work towards these goals alone. The industry is therefore rife with mergers and acquisitions, partnerships, joint ventures, cross-shareholdings, alliances, and other varieties of collaboration. No major car maker is currently going it alone on the market. The study reveals that strategic multilateral cooperation has become the norm to ensure survival. Xerfi Global World's Car Maker Study also considers the future path of the sector and identifies a perception shift which seems to be in store. The rising cost of car ownership, coupled with increasing options for car sharing and mobility, that is to say the combining of cars with other means of transport, is turning consumers away from individual car ownership somewhat. As a reaction to this, some car makers, such as Daimler, have already started to play the "if you can't beat them, join them" game, and are getting involved in the car sharing and mobility markets. This can be interpreted as the beginning of a trend in which cars are considered more of a service than a product. This trend is further reinforced by the increasing focus on vehicle intelligence and connectivity, which ultimately transforms the car into hardware with wheels, leaving a considerable part of its added value to be found in its software.
This report, which has recently been published by Xerfi's Global Business Department, draws on the expertise of our international team. As part of the Global Business Collection, the report provides the information, analysis and forecast required to decipher the key issues of the sector and benchmarks the major players to understand their position on the market. The aim of this research is to measure the attractiveness of the sector and to analyze the competitive forces of the market in today's global economy. It is presented in an easy-to-read format detailing, among other things, the general environment influencing market supply and demand, the intensity of competition, the sector's key players, their financial situation, recent events and strategic approaches, and the future direction of the industry. To order or to find further information on this report or others in our collection, please feel free to consult our website at xerfiglobal.com.